We mentioned earlier. A core of shooting games, the design of firearms. The design of firearms in the game. There are real-world firearms-based representations. To do a good job in gun design in the game, first of all, it is necessary to have a certain understanding of firearms in the real world. Let's learn this lesson together. Weapon system design in the game. We're going to do it logically and numerically. Let's analyze it for you, how to do a good job in weapon system design in the game. First, let's look at the logical analysis of the weapon system. Theoretically speaking, most weapons are composed of a launcher and ammunition. Generally speaking, the bigger the caliber of the launcher, the bigger the projectile that can be fired. The more powerful the shot, and the rate of fire of the firearm, the flight speed of the projectile, or the explosive radius of the ammunition, etc., usually affects the lethality of the weapon. Depending on the launcher and ammunition, we can divide weapons into projectile weapons, heavy weapons, energy weapons, melee weapons, etc. In general, the launched projectile is subject to gravity, and the trajectories are parabolas. We classify these weapons as projectile weapons, such as pistol grapple for bullet gun, submachine gun, assault rifle, machine gun, sniper rifle, compound bow, etc. It's particularly lethal for some, or weapons with explosive effects, etc. We classify it as a heavy weapon. Such as the rocket launcher Gatling, grenade launchers, rocket launchers, etc. Some rely on electromagnetism. Laser pulses radiate sound waves and other energy. Weapons of destruction. We classify them as energy weapons. For example, electromagnetic weapons, Gaussian weapons, plasma weapon, laser weapon, pulse weapons, advanced weapons, etc. And those weapons that are suitable for close combat, we call them melee weapons. Baseball bats, machetes, daggers, chainsaws. Games are a reflection of the real world. To design the weapons in the game, in addition to understanding the logical division of weapons, we also need to consider how to play the game, simulate weapon performance. Weapon performance involves aiming performance, fire performance, shooting feedback, etc. For projectile weapons, since the projectile is parabolic, Therefore, the elevation angle at which the weapon is fired affects where the ammunition lands. Therefore, in targeting performance, pay attention to the relationship between the elevation angle of the weapon and the distance. For example, the design in these two videos. You'll understand when you feel it. In addition to this, performance when aiming also includes automatic adsorption of aiming time sight, zoom in with lens effects. For example, what this video shows. Almost all firearms have recoil when fired. How to reflect recoil in the game? There are usually these options. For example, the muzzle of a pistol is raised when it is fired. The muzzle shake or flattening of a rifle as it fires. And in terms of shooting feedback, one is the effect of a bullet hitting its target. For example, headshots, explosions, vibrations, etc. Another shot feedback. It is the change and display of the amount of alter after shooting. In order to provide information support for players' decision-making, the display of alter quantity information depends on the perspective. The choice of design is also different. Like this first-person shooter game, it uses a digital display on the back end of the firearm. It's very intuitive. Obviously, in the top view game, this design is not very suitable. So, in our top view design game, it takes a bar that follows the player's progress. Display Christmas volume. And all of the above is expressed in the first-person perspective. Or there is more room for development from a third-person perspective. For the top view angle, a lot is simplified. The production cost has been reduced a lot. This is also our choice for the top view game. One reason to teach beginners. The performance of weapons in the game. In addition to using animation and other special effects to display, the bottom layer is inseparable from the value. For example, the rate of fire, the amount of ammunition, and the time to change the bomb. Scattering angle, aiming time, consuming, etc. can affect the performance of weapons in the game. Fast fire weapon. Ammunition consumption must be fast. But it's definitely lethal. It has a great advantage when facing a large number of enemies. Weapons with short reload times and aiming times. In the heat of battle, it will obviously have a clear advantage. The design of weapons is inseparable from the design of bullets. In the game, the most important thing is how to express the lethality of bullets. At the bottom level, we set the damage value of the bullet to achieve. With these theories, you can design weapons in the game, sort into a numerical table, or form game design copy. Let the game art do the weapon design. Finally, by the programmer in the game, realize the function of the weapon. This lesson, we have a preliminary understanding of the design of the weapon system. Let's briefly review. This lesson, we briefly understand the logical classification of weapons. Weapon performance design. Basic numerical planning of weapon systems. In the next lesson we will work together to implement a weapon system.